Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are all of you gorgeous, gorgeous people? I hope you're all well. So, it seems like what we're batting across the net at the moment is this situation regarding the gag order. For a few days, we wondered what this hearing was all about, this additional hearing that's going to happen. And then it came out that it was indeed regarding the gag order, which then sparks another train of speculation and questions. I did a video yesterday that was simply saying, look, it would appear, and the only thing that really made sense in all this was that the Gonsalves family were challenging the gag order because they felt that they were unable to speak and perhaps they had things to say. Some people quite rightly said, and it had been said multiple times, that they didn't think that the families themselves were indeed gagged. And this was a gag order that was binding to those involved in the proceedings itself, in terms of the attorneys, etc., etc. But when you considered what that would then entail, that kind of didn't make sense, because you think to yourself, well, why would the families then be wanting to lift the gag order on the attorneys? But I see some people have quite rightly said, well, perhaps the family just want to be able to utilise their attorney in the event that they would like to make a statement, so they can do it via the attorney, which makes complete and utter sense. Now, it would appear that one of the Gonsalves families have reached out. I believe that they've put a post on one of the many, many multiple pages and sites, whatever it is, on Facebook or the like, and they've basically said, look, we're not gagged. We're not gagged whatsoever. We just feel that the gag order is an overreach in terms of the judicial system's what they should be doing. They feel that that is just going too far, so they're trying to rein that in. And it would also appear that, as a side note, that the Associated Press are going for a second attack upon the gag order, saying that this gag order goes against, the Fourth Amendment rights, the freedom of speech, the freedom to talk, and the freedom of information. Where is it going to end up? Who knows? Who knows? At the end of the day, the Supreme Court, they went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, it seemed like they kind of understood and agreed with where they were coming from, but said, look, this isn't the way to go about things. This isn't the way to go about things. There is a method that you have to follow if you want things done, so I suggest you go back and you do it the proper way, do it the right way. And that seems to be what they're doing. But there is a caveat to all this, because I just think to myself now, I look at all of the stuff that's coming out, and I think to myself, do you know what? On the grander scheme of things, what matters? The information. We as individuals, we want to know everything. I want to know everything. You guys, you watching this video right now, want to know everything. You want to know all the information, and that's our curiosity. We are curious as to what is going on. We're curious as to how the conclusions that have been concluded have been reached. We want to know if there's more evidence, because we feel that the evidence that we've been shown, that has been garnered up to date, doesn't really show Brian as 100% guilty. Yes, there are some elements of it that are questionable, and you wonder, how are you going to get yourself out of this? Like some people have quite rightly pointed out, the identification. If the identification did indeed belong to somebody at 1122 King Road, and it was found in his parents' house inside a glove, how would he explain that? Now, the easiest explanation for that is that he never put it there. It was inside a glove because someone had extracted it from the house with a glove and planted it, because they needed to connect Brian Kohberger to that residence, and that was the way that they did it. And I know this is venturing into the realms of conspiracy, and whether somebody can indeed be set up for something. And who knows? Even though that may be a leap and a reach, it's not out of the complete realms of possibility, especially when we're seeing the Brady and Giglio issues in the background. That puts into question the integrity of one of, or if not more of, the people surrounding this case. Now, we have heard right from the start of this, there are little elements to this case that don't make sense, such as the Hyundai Elantra car. Now, there is an abundance of these cars. They are everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And the car that they are initially looking for does not 100% match the car that Bryan Kohberger drives. Some people questioned that this car was not white in the videos. It was silver. It was slightly older than the white model that Bryan Kohberger drives. And so on and so forth. And I know this is going off on a bit of a tangent, but there is a reason for that. Now, JLR uploaded a video a few hours ago, and it was with regards to a conversation that was handed to him that was had by a resident from around the area who had gone into the DoorDash place and were doing questions surrounding that. Now, even though these two people sounded like they were off their fucking tits, they were bringing out some statements that I know some people are going to latch on and go crazy. First of all, they talk about the fact that the DoorDash driver was indeed a female. It was a female DoorDash driver with dark hair. They then seem to get confused as to who ordered the food. Now, part of the conversation, and all I'll say is go over there and listen to it, even if you don't like JLR and you haven't got a lot of time for him. I have certainly had my disagreements with him in the past, but he seems to be able to, at times, get information that other people cannot. And certainly this video is one to look over and see what you think. And certainly if you do go and watch it or you've seen it, let me know down below what you think. But on one hand, they're making it sound like the DoorDash driver herself ordered the food and then sent it to 1122 King Road herself. And then it sounds like they're saying that the order was done by Bryan Kohberger. So there is some massive contradictions and some issues with that conversation, but like I say, they did sound like they were potentially under the influence of narcotics, but narcotics isn't a problem around these areas. We know that. But look, what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, there is a gag order. The gag order is being attacked. They're trying to get the gag order changed, altered, so we have access to more, and the Gonsalves family seem to be able to want or seemingly want their attorney to be able to perhaps relay information that they have in the event that they so wish to speak. But for the best part, they've confirmed that they are not gagged. It does raise the question as to, if they're not gagged, why all of a sudden they would go from wanting to speak and wanting to share information to all of a sudden, let's not say a fucking word. Now, that could just be that they are conforming to the process, and hey, that's probably the wisest move. In all honesty, that's probably the wisest move. But there is more and more information in the background that seems to be manipulated, being twisted, and it just proves that us having knowledge of information isn't really that important. What's important is the facts on the day. What these two sides, the prosecution and the defense, can bring forward to the jury and say, look, this is what we have. And the other side are going to say, this is what we have. And that's it. That's all that can be done. Now, we obviously do have, and I apologise for having to mention it again, we do have this potential exculpatory evidence in the background floating around, and maybe that will change things. But if this goes to a preliminary hearing, And that goes on from the preliminary hearing to trial. It's all going to be down to who's got the bigger teeth on the day. Because, like I say, from what I can see, all of the information that we are privy to can be twisted to fit whatever narrative you want. I'll give you an example. At the moment, they're talking about Bryan Kohberger's work history being brought up. And in particular, they're talking about the fact that he worked for approximately 5 years as a security guard. During that time, they note that his performance was exemplary. He even assisted in saving someone's life during this time, and there was no complaints. And this is something that has resonated through a lot of the things that are being said about Bryan. We've heard how his professor from DeSales University came forward, and she spoke of the fact that he was one of the best students that she had ever had. She had only ever put 2 students forward for a PhD, and he happened to be one of them. But with regards to this 5-year stint as a security guard, his security work, that can be twisted into 2 things. The exemplary record that he had and the fact that he helped assist in saving someone's life could go for the defense and showing that, look, this guy is not a monster. He is someone who cares about people's safety, cares about the community, and has in the past assisted in that. Now, on top of that, we know that there's a story sort of floating around in the ether regarding a female who had approached Bryan because she felt that her apartment had been broken into, and he apparently assisted in securing that. But this person, this female, obviously felt comfortable enough to approach Bryan and have him do that. But we know we've heard that is potentially being investigated to see whether he was in fact the person who initially broke in. Now, I ain't buying that, and it's the same as the reason why I'm talking about this specific thing regarding his work history, in that the prosecution could manipulate that information and say that the fact that he worked in this type of business proves that he had knowledge and the skills to perhaps get into places, reverse engineering of the job, if you like. So at the end of the day, this is going to be a battle. It's going to be a fight, and whoever wins is going to have to win on the basis of fact. And it's whether those facts can be trusted. Now, there's so many elements to this case that we don't know about. Now, we don't know if anything was found in that car in terms of DNA. Now, I would say that car is the single most important aspect of this case. The biggest question of all, and I want you to let me know down below what you think about this. Now, if there was nothing whatsoever found in Bryan Kohberger's car, I mean not a hair from a victim, not a hair from the dog, not a single piece of body, fluid, blood, anything. There was nothing in that car to tie Bryan to that house. Could he have been the person who did this crime? Time will tell. I'll catch you all in the next one.
What's up, Harsh fam? We just launched our new nonprofit organization, United Search Corps, where we're going to be advocating for the missing and families of the missing as well. And we need your help to spread awareness for our mission and also our fundraiser. There's a lot of equipment and necessary things that we need for this to be possible. So please take a second and share our fundraiser. For more information, please check out our website, unitedsearchcorps.org. Go over to my YouTube channel and check out our announcement video as well. The links will be in the description below. Thank each and every one of you for your time and consideration. Thank you.